do put, for you personally,
right?
When you put your input in, do you feel it's received by that other party?
I don't really care if it's received by the other party. I really don't.
See, now you made such a stupid answer. I really don't care. Such a stupid answer. Like, I don't care.
We got to start with my feelings, and I don't really care about what nobody say. I said it.
Ask me about me.
Yeah. Like I said, I really don't care because at the end of the day, how you feel is not really my concern. It's how that kid feels. That's my concern. So your feelings about what I'm saying to you, I don't care. That's like if you was to tell me something I'm doing wrong, you shouldn't worry about my feelings because you worried about the kid. So at the end of the day, that's the only concern I really care about. I don't care. We not together. Again, we don't have to be friends. We could be friends. Or we don't have to be friends. But one thing we have to communicate on is that child. And that's it.
Heat makers. Crack music.
Y'all now rockin' with 4 for 100. Let's go. To keep it real, it's not a chore for beloved. When they say it's up, put it on the floor, they gon' love it. I popped up in all them 4 doors that they covet. All in 2-seaters, cause a few fevers. Got all the ops hot, they wonder why I'm not shot. The way we used to step on them squares like hopscotch. I'm one of them ones that God got, he starts plots. Until the clock stops, we gon' turn it up a notch. They watching the stop clock while we burning up the block. I'm still learning a lot, I son them, let them talk. I'm still letting it slide like I got my son at the park. Cause I know that we could be gunning, running from knocks, but we stop for the lesson. It's positive progression to kick it with the like-minded. Can't spend your life blinded, rewind it, arsonist behind it.
Oh, I was eating, pardon me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Snacks.
No, shout out to Lounge Studio because they've been giving us free. They gave us some free.
Yeah, I got some snacks.
Yeah,
Hold on, I was eating. My bad.
Snacky.
Yeah.
They sponsored us.
Who took the apple?
Nobody.
For health reasons. For health reasons.
You can't trust apples in October. You know how that go.
Health reasons, obviously.
Actually, you can't.
Nah, they put raisins in them. At least that's my excuse. Leave me alone.
Okay, there you go. Wow, that's.
He shut that down quick.
Real
Okay.
quick.
Listen, I'm just letting you know we do not have a guest star. So Stu sitting in the middle looking flashy like that. He is not the celebrity of the day.
Yeah.
He's the star of the podcast, apparently.
No, I'm not.
Now he's spreading rumors. No, he's not.
We all stars.
He's shiny.
But
I like that. All stars.
He's shiny.
We all stars.
I like that.
There you go.
But don't be sitting in. I'm sitting in the middle next time.
I don't care.
Same thing she said.
Round and round.
Wait a minute.
Same thing she said.
You know what?
Started already.
Yeah, Mike. Who you listening to on the way over here?
Believe it or not, I don't usually drive in the evening, so I threw on
You might
105.
want to move your microphone a little closer to you. I know you kind of get used to this.
Last time y'all was here,
Your boy back on the radio. I ain't know that. Clue be on the radio on 105.
he been on the radio.
I don't be on the radio in the evening. But yeah, Clue was on the radio, but he had a little old school set on. He was playing nothing but a G thing, so that was bumping pretty loud.
I still love that. I still listen to nothing but a G. That's my West Coast swag.
We should know.
Oh, don't be judgmental.
Never.
What would you listen to, Stuart?
I was listening to that Bunny the Butcher and 38 Special. They got like a new album.
It dropped already?
Yeah. Like it's fire.
What's it called? I don't want to mess it up. I know what you're talking about though.
I'd be gonna go.
I ain't gonna do that to you.
Yeah.
But that's fire though.
Nah.
What you listen to?
It was called, the song I was listening to was Brick Special. That's what it was called.
Brick
though.
Special.
That's what it was called.
Funny thing, my son was telling me about some artist called Kyle Rich, so I went on search for Kyle Rich, and he got a joint with Lil Wayne and Yachty. Lil Yachty. The song is called Can't Hold Me Down. Diddy, I got you.
Kyle Rich?
Kyle Rich. The song is Can't Hold Me Down. It's pretty tough.
What do you do? He rap or he sing?
He raps.
Okay.
He sound like a drill rapper, but I ain't gonna front. I'm not mad at it, and it got my man Wayne on it, so I'm definitely not mad at it.
I'm gonna ask you, Kyle. What do you look like?
He doesn't look like the name.
Okay. All right. Answer.
He doesn't look
Yo
like
no
the name.
comprendo. I don't even know what that means.
What was you listening to, Ubeka?
The Kill Bill soundtrack. The Kill Bill Volume 1 soundtrack. Technically, I wasn't listening to anything, but that is an unacceptable answer for this podcast. So I'm going with Kill Bill Volume 1. How'd that sound?
And I know you was listening to something because when I spoke to you, you had some jazz on and some other
Well, yes, I
foolishness
do
song.
listen to jazz on a regular basis. Okay, that's true.
My name is Ubeka.
What you was listening to? In case you ain't know, Clue was on the radio. But
I was listening to Clue. I was listening to. I have to say the name right because I'm gonna butcher it like Bika usually does. But Jordan Adetunji. Yeah. You know, I thought that was a female.
you did?
I
Don't
didn't
you
know-
sing about the
Kalani joint.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I thought that song sounds like a female's. I was like, oh, I thought it was a female, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm confused.
Last time that happened was Four Bats.
Who's that?
That
That song.
he got a ski mask on with the mic hanging down and singing, and he's singing.
Yeah, it
singing
threw me
You
together.
off.
went to jail. You talking about the dude with the?
You went to jail?
Nah, Four Bats? Nah, not Four Bats.
No.
He just came out with an album not so long ago.
Yeah.
It threw me all the way off, bro. I was like, oh, what the Kalani is. The Kalani. I was like, oh, this song is popping. I was listening, and the Kalani jumped on the remix, so I was like, oh, this is
Okay.
fire. And I watched the video. I'm like, wait, time out. Where's the girl? Not the girl.
Oh, I know what song you talking about now.
I thought he was fishing for Kehlani, so I thought it was a man.
It worked.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a man.
Well, Kalani is also gay now, so I thought it was
First
a
of
girl.
all, why would you say that?
How would you know that?
She's openly gay.
Kalani, she's free
Yeah, yeah,
spirit.
yeah, yeah.
She's free spirit.
She's
Okay,
liberal.
I'm sorry. She
She's
definitely.
spirit.
She's
Why?
She even.
Why would you lump liberals with that? Don't do that.
There's no labels here.
Yo, y'all heard it's this Asian rapper. He does drill music. If you hear him on the radio, you would think he's from Brooklyn. He actually is from Brooklyn. But
That was the craziest thing I ever heard.
Yo, my
He's
man
from
just took
Brooklyn.
me to
Wait,
India
is Brooklyn?
and brought me right back.
No, dead serious. When I heard him, I'm like, when I just heard the song, I had to Google him. I was so surprised that he's at your local Chinese restaurant.
You talking about what's the name?
I think Dongja or something like
Yo.
that.
Turn this right here.
That's
to
his
the
name?
state. Right there. No, turn the outside, inside.
Right.
We're gonna find that out for.
Right there. Turn it so it's on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
way.
yeah. Please put it up there.
Yeah, so it stays still.
Yeah, like
Sounds
I think
interesting.
I'm saying,
You know I like
if
interesting songs,
If you
so.
hear him, you would think
Only Asian rapper I'm listening to is Young Stupid right now. Stupid Young, sorry.
Stupid Young.
Yeah, from Cali.
Never heard of him.
All right, but anyway, please, everybody, hit the like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate
It's
it.
free.
You know what I'm saying? It's definitely free.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Free
We
99.
got some great content for y'all.
Tuned in.
I,
Definitely, definitely. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm ashamed that all y'all listen to Stu to keep tuning in so he can buy free stuff. So he can buy
Yeah.
new outfits.
Listen,
You can't
keep
buy
clicking
free
the
stuff.
button.
You gotta buy stuff.
You gotta buy
You're
free
right.
stuff.
He bought
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
but
there-
y'all
there you
clicked
go.
for free and then he bought stuff with your money.
What?
Well, if that's what,
What?
y'all want to say,
What?
if you want to put
Kush?
it that way.
I'm confused what you said.
The leather jacket, he didn't have that leather jacket last episode.
Kush is trying to ask for free stuff. So.
I don't think
some free stuff.
I don't
I'm
think,
asking for free stuff.
yeah, because I don't think we hit the first corner of Stewart's closet. Yet,
we 40
Yeah.
we 40 episodes in and he keeps talking about shout out to, and I'm like, wait. Shout out DXL at this point, and they didn't give me nothing.
Shout out Haynes.
Yeah. Shout out Walmart for this white t-shirt.
Tarjay, I got you.
Speaking of, this is a top captain hat.
Y'all even skipped. Y'all played.
Reaching. Your back hurt?
This
Yeah.
is top captain.
They got a top captain, whatever.
But we got more pressing news today. Today's a great day. We got both Vivs in the building. Shout out to both Vivs being in the building.
We're going to do a vote.
2 at a time. It's a before and after joint.
Because everybody's asking y'all, was y'all the same person? But then we put y'all here together. So now we realize
Obviously.
it's
Yeah.
Definitely.
Said Mike was in blackface.
Yeah. I was in hiding. Yeah. I was in hiding. If y'all seen that new Unsolved Mysteries episode, that's
On
where
Netflix?
I went. Yeah.
Monsters.
Well, they actually told us before this cut on that he was actually watching SJ.
Here we go. Here we go. He was
So-
actually tending to
He was watching
Took my
Stu's.
nephew
some more
for
precious matters.
Yeah, he was watching
a couple months
Stu's.
with my nephew.
You got you. He lie on me too.
That's
You,
terrible.
you like to do that.
I'm calling you that, or I'm just calling you by your name?
All right, cool.
And the first thing you started talking to him about was your drug habits.
Y'all wouldn't provide pushback. So anyway, as I was saying, right?
What push? That's the pushback you wanted. You wanted to find out about your drug
Go
habits.
check it out. It was a really good interview, by the way.
Well,
Pushback,
speaking
about to say, let's-
speaking of the meth.
No,
man.
before we go on, hold on. Now we ain't deal with this. Now,
All right, let's deal with it. Come on.
how you guys doing?
What a simple
Mike,
question.
where have you been?
Well, as you know, Philip,
Not to fill up.
I don't need them.
That was a good episode.
I was in the back line. I was working with Klein in
Oh,
the
okay.
production room. So
Oh, here we go. So now
One, two,
CIA missions. I guess that person's not here anymore.
1, 2, 3.
My man said I went on a CIA mission.
Be like that.
And K-San, how's it been being a host on 4400?
It's been great. It's been a new experience, you know. So,
I like that jacket. That jacket is fire. I'm not gonna hold you.
blue.
I appreciate
That blue
it.
is bluing.
It matches my eyes.
Oh,
Now we get crazy. See what I'm saying?
Hey,
Now he think he Kyle.
So yeah. Now I think you got. Now listen, on the mayor. I don't know if you want to go back into it or you want. Can I go now?
No, you go now.
All right. Thank you.
You go now. I just want
Now on the mayor's
Well, the
episode
obvious.
that you couldn't wait to talk to him about your drug habit
to. Okay.
and the poison that you've been putting in your body. As of recent, right after he left our show, it seems that he had ran into a little legal trouble. little something called an indictment.
And he got off the elevator. Y'all set him up.
Now
just
we-
like Pac and just like a Diddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off the elevator.
We knew where it was coming from.
Yeah, we Vlad TV'd him. We definitely, as soon as he left the episode.
Indictments.
Yeah. What's your take on the? I don't know how much research you did on it, but what is your take on the issues that he's dealing with right now?
I can't say I did a ton of research, but I'll say the little bit of research that I did just today, flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Flabbergasted. I'm gonna say one thing. Number one rule of crime is that you have to commit crime by yourself. If you have any accomplices, you have to make sure they are 10 toes down, because it's been way more than 10 people that took toes and bounced on them already. But in doing so, I think they're trying to avoid what finally just happened, is that they indicted somebody else from his camp. So they starting to turn coat and they starting to tell at least their truths. I'll keep them all alleged for the time being until we know more. But the part I was flabbergasted by was that I didn't know that, and I don't want to screw the titles up, so I'm just going to put them out there as best as I remember them. But I think his deputy mayor, the lady that resigned, her husband is the chancellor of schools,
They just got married, yeah.
and his brother is
The other deputy mayor.
of
Yeah.
something else, public safety.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a pretty talented family to all be
Yeah.
the top ones in the city running underneath
It's
somebody.
always been that way.
but that
No.
President and somebody else was like,
There's one of them ones.
Oh yeah, Bobby and all, but they went through the eye of the public for a long time before they caught their scandal. If you fresh on the heels of scandal and it's your first run, then you.
they just got married though. Fair
But
enough.
that's why
They got married,
everybody's
like, 2 weeks
resigning
ago.
in
Yeah.
hopes that they can go somewhere else. Like
and without
you know what I mean?
problems.
Without
Yeah,
any
that's
issues.
why people, you about to get fired. I resign. Okay, you smart.
What you guys do?
Well, again, that's what I was going to say. What's going on now there's nothing new. You know what I mean? People use who you know. That's the difference between knowing people, having information, and being in those circles. This is an example of it. And this just happens to be like we have someone of our color that's able to do that. And now we look at it like, oh, wow, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. This has been going on for a long time. But at the end of the day, all I was going to say is this. I feel like us as a culture, we so quick to just be able to, if someone throws information about us, about something negative about, even with Diddy, even with, throw him under the bridge. He's messed up. He wrong. See, he's guilty. And we're not sitting there to stand behind him until, again, like you said, allegedly, right? Until we really find out the hardcore evidence and sit there and say, all right, cool. He's wrong. We got other people that's out here nowadays that's running amok, and they got 35 counts of 35 felonies on them, felonies, and everybody still, hey, I'm still riding with them. Why are we not that with our own people? Until we find out the real truth and the evidence. And that's the only thing I don't like. I just don't like, the media throws
hypocrisy.
Yeah, the media throws something out, and everybody, we all sit there and say, oh, look, she told you. Look at him.
It's not even the media at this point.
Yeah, and it's us.
It's us.
And that's the problem. And that's the thing I don't like. I don't like to see us go against each other until we figure out exactly what happened. Don't sit here and talk about somebody until you really fully know the details of the case or what's really going on. And then you can make your judgment. But if you just sit here saying because they tell you something, who will just sit there and say that they right?
I like that.
That's it.
I don't know what with me. To be real, have that many fans anyway since COVID, because when all those FDNY, NYPD got fired for not taking a shot, and then when he started giving them their job back, he wasn't trying to give them their job back. So he really didn't have that many fans anyway. So when his whole cabinet pretty much everyone resigned. That's not, no matter fact or fiction, everyone just up and leave. And then he gives a press conference today. Oh, everyone decided to pursue other opportunities at this particular. It's too convenient. So everyone's leaving at this particular time.
It's a smart thing. It's a smart move. It's a lot of people that goes on in any job that you have. It's either you resign or you get fired.
You'll be attached to a scandal though.
Yeah,
you don't want to be attached.
And they just,
other people have. I mean, cut you off, but everybody has other aspirations in politics, so you don't want to be.
But you know what it is? That resign is still, especially with this type of a scandal, the resigning is just as bad as getting fired for it. Yes, you're not being convicted of anything, but the allegation alone and you just up and leaving at this time, it still makes waves.
When you resign, some of the people that resign don't have no allegations against them. They just resign because they say, you know what, I'd rather get this stain off of me early before it's too late. That's all that is. But this happens all the time.
That's the same reason why people settle lawsuits, that they know that they're not guilty or anything else.
But you don't think a lot of these people that he handpicked out.
Everybody
for these positions. So it's not like these are just people that were there before him. These are people that he handpicked. Okay. So if I handpick Kush and Mike to do something for me, okay, you know what? I'm hiring you guys, and then something comes down on me, and then you guys just got hired when I got hired, and then you guys leave. Yes, you're not going to get in trouble for it, but people, our brothers, will still raise.
That's like this, right? You ever looked out for somebody? Right, you got him a job, or you looked out for him because that's your boy, and he dropped the ball.
Yeah, I'm saying in a small, minute way, yes, but this is much.
It's grand. It's grand. I'm not saying that it's not grand. It is big. It's a big deal, but I think it plays into every last narrative, right? And I just want you guys to be consistent with the narratives, because on one hand, having everybody around you get arrested is a problem. Everybody around you lose their jobs, it's a problem. Everybody around you divorce, it's a problem, right? But then I watch you make exceptions for all of those things. I watch you make exceptions for those who want to do even worse than what people are accusing. And they do it by making the allegations insurmountable. I watched in prepping for this, I watched like a 30-minute video, and inside that video, it was, he had the nerve to tell parents to go through their kids' rooms, and there is no First Amendment in your house. You get to take control of your house. Go look for the guns. Go look for the drugs. Take them from your kids. Run your house. And it's like, how dare he? Wait a minute. You don't want me going through their pockets, but you want crime to stop. If you don't want to blame your kids, then fine. But go look through the apartment. But in the context of that video, we were shooting ourselves down. We were telling that video was egregious somehow. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get how he's supposed to run things without involving you. And then when he involves you, he's okay. I don't know.
But you know what that is? You know what that comes from? Back in the day when everybody was included in raising, the village was everybody.
Yeah.
Once that disconnect between your grandmothers to the daughters, and that disconnection happened, you can't tell nobody.
My grandmama biscuits. Nobody know how to make them.
There
no
you
more.
go.
You're right.
And you know what I mean. And it's that disconnect that we have now in this generation when it comes to parenting, where you can't tell people about, like, yo, look, your kid is messing up. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. But then you want, after the end result, then you want to be like, oh, it's your fault. Why you didn't tell me nothing? Why you didn't let me know? But when I told you, you didn't want to hear what I had to say. So it's crazy to me, and this is why I say, like, let's find out first the full details, and let's find out, and then we could sit there and say, yo, if he messed up, he messed up. If he didn't, he didn't. You know what I mean? But we just can't say, hey, people going. It's smart. It's a smart move. It's a smart business move.
It's a smart move.
His
but
scandal
it's still an eyebrow. Like, it's still, no matter how you try to. You try to base it. It's still a eyebrow. Like,
how about this, man?
Like, really? That Kush, Mike? Like, hold on. You guys leaving right now? Like, why? Because now I gotta answer why y'all left.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
You
don't. Everybody know why you left.
In this scandal,
let me throw this out there. I don't want to make light of the scandal, right? But I'll just say this from my quick point of view. Have y'all actually seen what he's being alleged of doing?
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say.
So
It's what happens at the top level of business
So
everywhere.
I'm about to
Thank
say.
you. Thank
so
you. That's what I
if we indicting him
Say
for
it out
allegedly, for taking like upgrades on
Greasy
hotel
palms.
rooms, or no, if you talk, no, if they would have told me,
Grease and Pros is I can
if
get
you'd
why
have told me,
that.
if you'd
But
have told me
say
somebody left
say
you
the
an
other thing.
envelope, I'd be like, that's a problem. But you telling me you took an upgrade to your hotel, or upgrade to your flight. In that case, everybody sitting on this podcast. And everybody in Brooklyn need to go to jail because I'm telling you, anytime you go to Red Lobsters, it's my birthday,
No, but
so I can
yeah.
get the free cake.
The biggest
Yeah.
one though was the public funds joint.
The public funds, yeah.
Public funds where he was having
taking money.
people donate on behalf of small donors.
He didn't
And
learn
then
that.
Somebody pushed it to him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying that's the allegations that are the big ones that people are looking at. Like, oh, that's what they're gonna attack him.
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
It
yeah.
ain't gonna be like, oh, well, he got an upgrade on
For
the
the
first
room,
class.
like, no
I'm
one-
look the other way on
But
that.
you can't put that. It goes back to what we said about the Diddy joint, right? You could tell me that a crime that he committed, but you can't tell me about the baby oil. So if you want to tell me that the funds that people were illegally donating to his campaign, like straw donors, you're saying that people were, they're not being upfront about them. First of all, that is learned behavior if it happened, right? Let's just have a bunch of people do this thing and then whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I think that has always been happening. They
It's
like,
been-
Mayor, this is what we do. And he's like,
I'm
But like
with
I
it.
said,
That's how
that-
you go. That's how you get it.
That's what I said. That's
But
what I
getting
said.
on the news and telling me that you took upgrades to your hotel room is crazy. Like, who doesn't
Because-
go somewhere
Well,
and it's not your wife's birthday?
He told the
about to
minimum. Like, let's be right. He know it's bigger allegations against him. And now, mind you, yes, if that's always been a part of the mayor, then whether brother you got caught. At the end of the day, mind you,
Nah, I'm not
apparently-
accepting that. I'm
nah,
sorry.
it don't
If I'm
be-
sitting on the jury, because I'm gonna tell you
Nah,
this: if I'm sitting in the back in regular class with y'all in 400, and somebody come up and say there's one first class upgrade to first class,
He taking it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
sit
taking
there
it.
and I'll talk to y'all on text if we get the free Wi-Fi on the
But-
plane.
but-
I might have free Wi-Fi. Y'all may not.
Now, but you got
I
to,
will
but
too.
you got to see
I'm taking
on the
upgrade.
next note. How many times we tell our kids, yo, if a kid hits you and you hit them back, it would just be your problem that the teacher see you hit back.
No,
They-
I never said
the
that.
ref always
If you
catch
hit
the
my
second
kid, I
foul.
tell
Yeah,
my
but-
That
This
he
is
even
what I
did it.
see. This
He
is
stole food stamps.
yeah.
He built a volleyball court.
He built an arena.
Like, and this is what I be talking
With
about. We
food
so
stamps.
quick to kill out, to downgrade ourselves and downgrade our own people.
We do it so fast.
So fast.
I kind of feel, I called you about this the other day. It really feels alarming that it actually is happening where we're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like it's too much rooting going on. I
Yeah.
feel like it's too much like, yeah.
Like even with the VP was invisible for 3.5 years, right? And now all of a sudden,
You know why she was invisible, right?
Yeah.
no, you can explain it to me.
You
I
know-
just thought that we didn't care what a VP did until
No,
now.
No, but
Until
I'm gonna say
now.
this. The reason, first of all, let's be for real. The VP was invisible because you have a older white man, right, and you have a black lady. You don't want it to be convoluted with both of them seeing both of them out, at the same time. So with that being said, in the decline of his health, you don't want her to be outshining him. So what you gonna do? You're gonna put her to the back.
Yeah.
And you're gonna let her sit there until it's time to shine. And then at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, when you the VP, you pick people that's like not the same as you, but polar opposite. So if you are a conservative, you get somebody that's a liberal. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
So wait, so
Well,
think
he
so?
did stop him from doing what he wanted to.
Allegedly.
Right?
There you go. So
Not allegedly. He stopped him.
well, that's gonna take us into our next topic.
Yeah.
and can I say one more thing? All right. And you sit here and you made a statement about if everybody. How about if we see everybody go to jail, really go to jail, right? And then when you get the chance to, you get them free out. You free them out. So what is that saying? And we not sitting here talking about them, right?
Yeah, I'm saying.
We not talking about him.
But
They went to jail.
Lost their law licenses.
Went to jail.
Right.
Really went to jail. And then a couple of months later, I'm gonna release y'all on pardons.
Yeah.
So let's be not be saying nothing about that. So let's be careful, bro. Let's
that's not the
Here's the
topic though
thing.
either. Though. That,
All right. I don't want to drag it. But
go
yes.
ahead, do your thing, bro. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of race, right? Yeah, I brought that up.
Right.
I like that topic. I had this caught upside down, but I had it the right way up.
I seen you read
dyslexic.
upside
I don't
down for the
know.
last
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Don't be judgmental
He
to me.
dyslexic. It's all right.
It's
Y'all
okay.
messing me
brother.
up because y'all
You could
started
be
going.
dyslexic, rejected, elected.
Yeah, for all y'all, go catch that episode. Go catch that episode
Catch
for
the man,
100 with
dope one. It's a dope one.
Yeah. Thank him for sitting down. Also, real quick, thank him for sitting
Absolutely.
down with local.
He still got you got a friend in me.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
all right.
This
We're gonna
episode brought to you by Turkish Airlines.
So, oh man, teaching your kids about race and things of that nature. Because Stu, you brought up a good point a minute ago about how I would say African American people kind of like turn against each other really quick. I brought this topic up. How young is too young to teach your kids about race relations? And is it healthy?
Too young? Too young is when I don't think they understand the conversation at all. I think, and I'm not saying you should put them out there in this way, but until it's experienced and questioned on their behalf, I don't think they're going to understand it. Because only when they realize something is different or in some way they were treated different, then they're going to ask those questions where you could kind of start to kind of explain where there's a difference. But again, like if you said a little white boy and a little black girl down in the sandbox, they're going to play with each other and not know what you're talking about for the longest time until another of any person comes along and says a word that doesn't fit, and then they're going to question that. And then, I was saying, and then that leads into the snowball where that much information is honestly probably overwhelming to any kid the first time hearing about it, because it doesn't make sense for you not to like somebody or somebody not to like me based on those factors.
What do you got? So what do you think?
Well, I would say an incident, that's one, right? Or they get to a certain age where they start to understand. Because at the end of the day, like say for instance, you're in elementary, like you said, preschool, you don't really figure that out until you get to maybe junior high school. That's when you start to know. So that I feel like you should prep them for that at that certain age. If something doesn't happen, but if something happens before then you let it,
I'm gonna challenge you really quick. What does that look like?
Being honest. You are who you are. And sometimes people are not going to accept you for who you are. And you just got to be real about that. No matter how good, no matter how nice you could possibly be, some people are just not going to like you just because of who you are. And you got to be honest with them. And instead of them going out to the world and not be oblivious and get smacked in the face because they didn't know, it wasn't explained to them. Because they go off and like thinking, hey, I'm just
playing basketball one-on-one.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think nothing is wrong. Yeah. Like, why? You know what I mean? So I feel like when you get to either a situation happen, like you said, or you get to a certain age, like junior high school, you have to start I'm just letting them know, like, yo, look, listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. You have to be very careful how you interact with females. You know, you're going to start to see certain things that you didn't see before now at your age when you get into junior high school that you didn't see. So you got to explain that to them and give them a heads up. So when it happens to them, you're not oblivious and then they can come back and talk to you about it. Be like, all right, so what should I do about this? Because this happened to me. And they feel comfortable explaining because now they don't feel like I'm an outsider. No one likes me. No, it's not that no one likes you. You just who you are, and you just have to accept things are not always going to be this way. And that's all. Prep them for the world so they don't be suckers.
What you got, K Boogie?
I don't know.
K Boogie with the hoodie.
With the hoodie, definitely. Now, teaching kids. I don't know. I've seen too many kids at the park with my youngest son that if they're in I guess an area where it's mainly a certain type of people, those kids are going to play with people that look like them. And I think at that point, that's when you actually, because they will come to you like, yo, Dad, Mom, how come that kid won't play with me? Because they're only playing with their people that look just like them.
What age do you think that's happening at?
That can happen at 4 years old.
Is that cultural or is it race?
See, now that's where that's where the mix-up comes from, because a lot of times it could be cultural. A lot of times it doesn't have to be race. A lot of times it could be cultural, and that's where the race and culture kind of it's gray in that era, because if they only want to talk to people that talk like them, that they're only going to talk with because they're more comfortable with them, and plus, K-Son don't look like me, so I'm not gonna play with him. Not because he's black, just because he just don't look like me. He don't look like Tom, Dick, and Harry. So, and that comes at really young, 4 years old, 5 years old. Once they go into the world, literally once you walk them to the playground, they're going to experience cultural racism.
You think they're told that at home, or you think they're mimicking what they see
I
the
think
other
I
one's
think it's
doing.
more. I think it's like a little bit of both. I think a little bit of both. It's like, oh, don't play with, you know what I'm saying? Only play with your brother and sister, or only play with him because he looks like us. And they may not word it in that particular way, but kids kind of see it because it all starts from the household.
Everything starts from the
It
household.
also
So you think it's learned behavior?
everything is learned behavior.
What you got, B?
So I don't know. I'm not there yet. I don't see where race would actually come up. I know you guys, that was a good description of the playground, but before then, I don't really know where it would show up. My daughter goes to school with we had a cultural potluck at the school. So every grade brought together something and they put it all together. So I don't think that it's going to be
I
a
know you didn't
problem
cook
there.
nothing.
I think it's going to be a problem.
How much macaroni and cheese with raisins?
Swedish fish.
Potato salad with raisins.
Potato salad with raisins.
Got Kool-Aid packs.
How much light skinned chicken was there?
I went, but I didn't eat. I wasn't going to do that.
I hope you bring none of your brownies.
Take these to school.
These are adults only, okay?
You ain't got to be racist.
That's called teaching your daughter to sell drugs.
First one's free. Now, let me stop.
First one's in the house.
But what I was going to say is, you guys got the problem. You the ones in like where it's a little bit of a diversity. You guys have the biggest issues. Y'all in the middle of
Living with the whites.
Yeah,
Not another
so-
in sight.
Well, yeah.
So y'all got the real issue. Me, it's not. I don't think it's really gonna be a problem. But whenever it is, it will probably when it's brought to me because I don't. She's if she's on the train at times, she's on the bus. There's a bunch of different people. Even culturally, there's West Indians, there's Greeks, there's a bunch of people.
But see, that's the
around
thing.
her.
Who's really interacting with? Just because you see them, you're not interacting with them. So if you're talking about kids, she's interacting with the kids. And
True.
That's the difference.
True, and we go to a bunch of different parks, like the Sturgeon Park on the West Side Highway. I suggest that's a little cool little take your kids there. That's a really good park. But I go to a bunch of different parks because I don't even want her to get comfortable with the kids at the park closest to her house because they not your friends. So let's go to a totally different park.
I feel like you doing it to meet different moms
No, get out of here. Why would I do that?
or to sell your brownies.
Listen, I am
First one's
I am a
First one's free.
acquisition. Customer acquisition.
But look, I think you have a benefit being in a place that's multicultural. A lot of people that don't have that benefit and grow up in the sticks somewhere else and they only see people that look like them until they go to, a college or like I didn't leave the hood till I was about 12 or 13. And I knew what a racist was, and I knew what race was. I knew what it was, but I didn't experience it.
Moment. Damn.
I didn't experience it until I lived somewhere else where, not that was a norm, but it just had to be discussed. Like, okay, you might have friends, but that friend, her daddy might not want you in the house. You know what I mean? And Kyle might be able to go in the house. And you had to have an understanding of why that was the case. But sometimes I think it's the difference between learned at home and being taught at home. I don't think people are getting sat down like, all right, we're going to explain what an N-word is to you. No, but I think if they hear it enough, then they think, okay, that's what we do. That's what we say.
Off of long enough.
Yeah.
So now that's what we
Or
call them.
BET.
Because you got to think about it. If you in the house with, okay, I'm gonna just say Hispanics. A lot of times they're only going to play with people that speak their language. A lot of times, or even if you
That's
go
a cultural
Like
thing.
a safety net?
Yeah, I didn't speak Spanish and they ain't play with me.
But you think it's malicious or like a safety net, right? Because like when kids don't speak the same language,
Comfortable.
right? Yeah, because like if if you have like a Punjab kid or you have like a Spanish kid, then they like you go somewhere and y'all guys are speaking English, then I feel like, all right, let me just play with the kid who speaks the same language as me. So I don't think that's malicious. The reason I brought this topic up, am I cutting you off?
No, do your thing.
The reason I brought this topic up is I definitely live in an all white neighborhood, right? Shout out the whites.
Damn.
Shout out to the white people.
Yeah.
Shout out to the white people.
Wait, yeah.
Right?
First one's free.
So first one is free. Right?
This is the Caucasian initiative. This is the Caucasian
Where's the guy
initiative.
with the muffins?
So, where's your buddy with the muffins? Coming back to your barbecue this year? Like, I know why they like Ubeka.
Get out of here. That's
No,
not
but
what happened.
so my son, I was telling him they had a little kid party because every week there's somebody's birthday, and I asked him, I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, I forget the little girl's name. Let's say her name was Candace or whatever, right? It's like Candace. It was one of those nondescript. We don't know if she's white, black, whatever, right?
Oh, Lakeisha. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
right. Lakeisha, right?
Alizé. Okay.
Lakeisha, right? Lexus,
Anything. Universal.
no, right? So her name was something like Universal, like Candace or something like that. I'm like, oh, well, what do we get her? Because I figure all kids like dolls.
All girls.
Right? All girls like dolls. I apologize. All girls, little girls like dolls. So I'm like, can't go wrong with that.
She got a $5 scratch off.
Thought about that. I'd have been tight. I'd have been tight if they won.
You learn about
My fault.
You wasn't old enough to play the gamble, so give it back.
Get that back. So anyway, long story long. So my wife tells me, oh, pick up a gift. And I'm like, I'm going to get a doll. She's like, don't get a doll. And I'm like, I got this. I'm getting a doll. This is on me. I got a doll. Right? I tell my son, I say, son, he's playing with his toys. I said, what does little Candace look like? She look like you, or she's a little lighter like your other friends, or whatever, right? He just playing. He goes, she looks like me, like she's a kid. She looks like me. So I'm thinking to myself, this is a little black girl, this Candace girl, right? So I go to Target, and I'm lit now. I'm like, yeah, they got a doll right here. Bam, get Candace this doll. It's the blackest doll you could ever see, right? This is Afrocentric doll, straight from Uganda. Yeah, this doll got 2 Afro puffs, natural eyebrows.
Kinda forever.
Yeah,
You said the arms came like
yeah.
this.
It actually said no perm on the box, right? Right.
Came
All
with a pair
kinds
of
of all kinds of
lashes.
Kenyan attire, right? All the switch out things.
Can't take
So
cloth.
I'm like, kente cloth, all kinds of things, right? It even had African slang on the bottom. So
Nah, me.
yeah. You're right. I think when you pull a thing, it goes you're. So then I go take it with confidence. I drop it off at the thing, right? My wife texts me, "You a-hole." I said, "Why am I an a-hole? I bought this kid an expensive gift." She goes, "The little girl is white." So now the gift is on the little trolley, and we can't get it back at this point, right? So now you don't want to seem like the overly
It's part of the
African parents at this
Yeah,
point,
you
right?
started it.
Right, but then
You started it.
so the reasoning was behind.
Now I gotta
they
explain
liked
it to
it.
them.
Yeah, they liked it or whatever. But it was like I realized in that moment, I'm like, my son really doesn't understand the difference between white or black or whatever. He literally just it's his friend.
Yeah.
His friend is, and so I'm like, when do you explain to them? And I guess it goes back to what you guys said. I guess when it happens to them, you kind of got to ease it in there. But you don't want them to have learned behavior because at our age we have biases. Right? I think white people think I am. You're dressed like that. I think you are. But that comes from in the house, right? That's not like.
Or experiences.
But it's very.
But I don't know
rare-
if it's experiences because, like Mike said, if you didn't go out, leave the house till you not leave the house, but if you didn't go out to your culture till you was 12, what do you know about white people? What's your experience?
But you got to think. But you know what it is
On TV.
A lot of people are biases.
Not Jean-Claude Van Damme.
A lot
All
of
white
people
people do karate.
will look at a name, right? Now, mind you, my name is African. So in their mind, an African looks a one type of way.
Like a
Nailed
bowl
it.
in the mouth.
Yeah, like
Stick.
a big scar.
Nailed it.
Or dreads or so. Mind you, gotta think about it. So when I walk into a room for an interview and they just see the name, they're low key surprised. Well, not at the complexion, of course, but
We know who K-Son is.
you know what I'm saying?
What is the African?
Yeah, if he walked in this room, he go, "Okay, son, ready?"
But you got to think, but they have a certain type of demographic or appearance or what an African is supposed to look like. Not that's a little more urban. They may have a little more swag to them. They have an African. Oh, he's a migrant or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like certain names would have a certain perception with someone. A natural racist or bias or just off the name. Not even, because I could have been a white person. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna hit y'all with the smash
When
and grab.
you
I
said-
haven't done this in a long
Yeah,
time.
When
he
you-
talk about him, right? My name is Stuart Hemingway. So
Yeah.
if they see that on a resume, they like they don't know who.
They know you tricked them. That's when they come out of the
I punch mine up. Can I speak to Michael? Speaking.
Both of y'all out here cheating people out of stuff. Basically, when y'all get to the office, it's like, oh man, affirmative action. All right, quick smash and grab. What age are you gonna teach your child about it? Smash and grab, quick, hit fast.
12.
like 5.
5. Wow.
Real early.
What you guys do?
When the situation comes arise.
What about SJ?
I thought
All
you
right.
definitely wanted to answer because that was mine. That was all
I did want to answer, but what about SJ? All right, never mind.
There we go.
At what age will you explain?
I think you could teach colors pretty early, like 5 to
Crayola?
7. Like that's a black person, white person. Can't say yellow person. That's terrible. But
Why
I
can't
think
you?
again,
Not
I think
anymore.
situational awareness.
I
I think around 12, 13, you start having enough mature conversation to
Explain it.
explain it, but also understand that they understand it.
Okay.
You?
Brr.
Don't buy no more dolls.
Yeah, I dolled out.
When do we
Hey, what'd
explain it
you
to
learn?
you?
Yeah, when you explain to me to start
At what
listening.
age do we explain?
No, what it
race
tells
to
you is you gotta start listening to women sometimes.
At
Moral
what
of the
age do
story
you start
is-
doing
You
that?
start listening to women after you messed up enough.
Almost there.
Yeah, you start,
Let you know.
I got like 4 more times.
yeah, when you're sleeping in the guest bedroom, not by choice. Right? You don't get invited to the next parent teacher conference.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah. When you get that text, thank you with a fist.
Oh no.
Thanks,
All right.
brother.
Speaking of children, right? Speaking of children, as the Western Indian people say,
Churn.
the children, right?
Churn.
Turn.
I'm
Or
gonna
the
go
pick-
this
no,
way.
the
I'm gonna go this
pick
way
me.
this time.
The pick me
The pick me
them.
them. Separate households. What say do you feel like you have if you have a child, like you have a child's mother, and you don't live in the same house? What-
Co-parenting.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm about to say
That's the right word. I didn't say
Oh.
co-parenting.
You have a child's
Because
mother.
everybody's not co-parenting. Sometimes you have a child's mother.
Nah.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying ideally, it's co-parenting.
We're not. This is not the ideal question.
okay.
This is both ways. This is when you love her and y'all cool, y'all friends, or you just dislike her. What say do you have in that household? Or what you feel like you should say? Or what-
Now, to what though? To how she raised the kid? or-
anything.
I'm saying you have no say so that you don't live there no more. Like whatever, the only say you may have is about that child, and even that is minimal because that's her child, her household. Now, when that child to choose, she can't really. Even though a woman will still try to dictate what she wants from you in your household with her child, but if y'all the mother, like in all reality, you can say something. You can say something, but she's not gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta kind of honestly agree whether you love her or you hate her. It's her house, her child.
Her body, her choice. I got you.
There you go.
I knew he was doing this. See, you skipped me. I appreciate the delay because he tried to throw it straight to me. Like I'm not the one in the worst amount of fire.
Yeah, he looked at me, so I'm like, okay. Well,
Nah, he knew what he was doing. I saw it coming. I think he even said, "I'm gonna go in reverse this time."
I want to get you in trouble. I can't wait to the comment section. She be like, "You ain't got no say."
None.
Say
none.
less.
I
It's
told
not
a
just a
story.
restaurant.
Told a story before. She had a Cheeto. She had a Cheeto, and it was a baby with a Cheeto, and I thought it wasn't funny. She was like, "You don't live here. You don't have no say over what she eats." I said, "Oh snap!" That killed me. But she was right. She was absolutely
She's
right.
not right.
Listen, I know what you're saying, but that's why my goal is to be there tomorrow. If I'm there tomorrow, whatever else may balance it. It's not just about food, whether she eats pork or not. So I'll feed her enough chicken to balance the pork. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
I know you struggle.
what I'm saying is, as long as she keeps seeing what I think the ideals are, then I could show her again tomorrow. And then if it's a long weekend, I don't see her for 3 days, that's fine with me. But I think being there again tomorrow is my only method to try to do anything on that side of town.
I got you. Yo, superstar, what you got?
Oh, don't do that.
He would have said no.
That jacket is nice though. That's my size.
It's probably more my size.
Listen,
Your
let me get back to the
size.
I'm
conversation.
taking that one first.
Your size.
Yeah.
You can have the zippers.
He gonna pass it on to SJ.
He gonna fit you little one.
Time to grow.
I'll say this, regardless if you get along or you don't get along, whatever y'all need to do is come accord when it comes to that child. Because what you're doing is you're creating a child that could easily manipulate situations between the both of y'all. So for me, I felt I ain't gotta like you. Me and you didn't work, whatever the case may be, we don't have to talk. But when it comes to whatever that kid needs or what we need to get right for that kid, we have to be able to come together for that. Other than that, like, it doesn't really matter to me. But we got to make sure that the kid we all on the same accord when it comes down to he or she. And that's all that matters.
But still, in what context? Because you got to think about, okay, pertaining to what? The food, clothes. If
listen,
it's like necessary.
See, this is another thing too, right? When you start talking about food and all this other things, these are the things that y'all should have talked about before y'all even had the kid. These are the things that y'all should have explained. Be like, yo, I don't eat pork. Oh, you don't eat pork, so we not feeding the kid pork before that kid come to here to the world. We should have had those conversations again. So again, that's a little bit on you, people, on us.
Yeah,
sitting back.
Now we in separate households.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
But
now we have to separate households.
But you eat chicken.
All
So
right,
okay, you
but-
know what it is.
All right, but what I'm saying is,
So no, I know. I'm sorry. I mean, cut you, but question I want to like narrow it down on. Do you feel like you should have a say in that household? If your daughter's doing something that you don't like in that, I'm sorry, touch knuckles. Your daughter's doing something that you don't like, or is operating under a religion, a race, or a food or something like that. Do you feel like you should have a say on what's going on in there?
as far as religion,
That's broad. I'm just saying, but like,
it depends. That's a very broad statement. Or what can I talk? Can I put my input on? Right? If it's talking,
because she may say to you, I'm sorry, she may say to you, whatever goes on when she's with me is what I'm dealing with, and when she's at your house, she could do it, whatever.
All right, but then when the situation arises, then she's gonna come to you and ask you to correct it, and that's why we need to come down to a common conclusion and be like, that's the way you handle it is the wrong way to handle it.
Okay.
This is how we should do it, because you sitting here saying, hey, she could do that at your house, but then this is the problem we having.
Okay.
If we having a problem here with the way you're doing it, all right, now it's time for you to listen to what I'm saying to you, and maybe we should go try this other avenue and see how that works. And if it works, then we're going to keep following that. We're not going to keep doing what you was doing if it doesn't work.
Okay.
And
But
that's what I'm
when
saying.
you do put, for you personally,
Right.
when you put your input in, do you feel it's received by that other party?
I don't
or do
really care if it's received by the other party. I really don't. Let me see. Now you made
Such
me
a stupid answer. I really don't care. Such a stupid answer. Like, I don't care.
We got to start with my feelings, and I don't really care about what nobody say. I said it.
Ask me about me.
Yeah. Like I said, I really don't care, because at the end of the day, how you feel is not really my concern. It's how that kid feels. That's my concern. So your feelings about what I'm saying to you, I don't care. That's like if you was to tell me something I'm doing wrong, you shouldn't worry about my feelings because you worried about the kid. So at the end of the day, that's the only concern I really care about. I don't care. We not together. Again, we don't have to be friends. We could be friends. Or we don't have to be friends. But one thing we have to communicate on is that child. And that's it. I don't care if you don't like what I say.
Mikey, Mike and the Funk Boys, what you got?
Ooh, got bad situation.
Okay.
I'm tell you this. No, but I feel like y'all. I feel like my input should be a lot more valued than I know it is. A lot of the times, again, that is not my household, and there'll be certain things that I could say till I'm blue in the face, but that don't mean it's gonna happen. Some examples, we were talking about food. I don't like my daughter eating a ton of sugar, so I'll reiterate that 100 times. But at the same time, when you go to the grocery store, you buying what the hell you want. But when she goes to the dentist and the dentist say that her teeth are tore up, now I'm looking at you and you don't really have a defense for it. So now we're at a quarrel because what I felt would have been of benefit, you cared not to hear at all. Just because, again, we're not in the same house.
Sometimes you gotta have that quarrel, bro.
Oh, I do. I have it a lot. I am in the other corner catching black eyes and giving blows.
like Michael B. Jordan.
But at the same time, I think like you were saying, if y'all don't have an understanding of what's best for the child and actually agree on that, then I think you're setting up a structure where you're affording them the opportunity to be confused, because your mother has one expectation and you could do this at her house, but when you come over here, no, you just eat at the dining room table and not in your room. Oh, but mommy lets me do. No. I don't. No. So again, if you don't have the structure where it's like, yo, we're both saying this and this is what your parents are saying, then like you said, they could start to manipulate situations, or they could just start to be confused by situations. Like, all right, daddy's cool with
She
me
ain't
doing
confused
this.
when she come on my house.
Nah, but
No,
you
I'm
know-
not saying you specifically,
No.
but
But
that's the conflict you have of trying to co-parent from.
Right.
But you got to think. But in a sense, it's like if you work at a job and it's like two managers and they both manage completely different. Okay, so if Kush managing, he lets me be on my phone, but if Mike manage, he's not on it. So
That creates conflict,
so,
though.
Yeah, but it creates
Because
conflict.
when I'm
but-
on my phone and I'm comfortable,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear when B could come here and start telling me.
Yeah.
Now, but
Mike
but-
ain't said nothing to me, and I know I
you
can't
what
get
it
fired.
is?
So
with kids, that the parents have to be like somewhat not friends, but a lot more cordial with each other. Because if she hates me and I hate her, I don't gotta listen to that. Then it's a side of pettiness that's gonna come with raising that child.
Yeah.
It just because of my dislike for you. We know, because what Stu said is right, but in a perfect, that's a perfect world. We're living
think
in
my daughter
in perfect
trained-
world.
I think my daughter transitions between both of these worlds.
Yeah,
too
I'm telling you.
smoothly.
Yeah, like because
She does it too
And-
smoothly,
and I think
and
we-
it scares me a bit
kids,
because
kids will act accordingly. Okay, you know what, Dad, you Stu. Like, you know what, Stu, Dad don't want me this way, but Mommy, kids can definitely adjust to two different households. If
Yeah,
they-
we don't
if
give them
that's their
enough
regular.
credit. We
My
don't give them
daughter
enough
will
credit.
try her mother in a way where she would
Won't-
never try
Exactly.
me. And then her mother can't understand it. Like, well,
Well,
No, she could
doesn't-
understand it. She just don't want to understand it.
No, she
That's
don't want,
the difference.
She don't want to believe that that she respects. I'm not gonna say your kids respect you the same way, but dads just get a little bit more of that fear factor. To be totally real with you,
I think it's in reverse for me. I think I may be causing the problems on the other side of town.
you let her sell them brownies at the school. I'm gonna hit y'all with a smash and grab real quick. So on the reverse, do you think that the primary parent, I'm gonna say primary because they stay with them the whole time, should have say on what goes on when the child is with you?
No, not at all.
not at all.
If I'm doing something I'm not supposed to.
hell no. Put on that Cowboys jersey, girl.
All right, and we're gonna close this out because I wrote it upside down, so don't judge me. And I do it every time. I think
He's
it's someone-
dyslexic.
What's up,
Maybe
baby?
I'm dyslexic.
Electric, electric, be the most powerful mayor in Shanghai. I mean, New York City.
All right, I had to reword this like 8 times, so hopefully y'all get this. During your free, loose stages, okay, when you were not in a committed situation, but you were out in these streets,
In these streets,
Wiping right.
soaring, not
sorry.
soaring.
Soaring above the clouds.
When he
Soaring
said, "I
above the
believe I
clouds."
could fly," I took that to heart.
Right. At this level in your life now, should you feel guilt? Do you feel guilty after your soaring stage?
No.
No,
No.
why?
I
You
mean,
like you're still going through it. He like,
no,
I'm
not at
doing
all. That's what I'm
something.
saying.
I'm
I don't
still
think
flying.
I ain't got enough stories.
Oh.
I ain't got enough stories to recount where I feel like it could cause me any kind of trouble in the future. Like I don't think I had something to exclaim where it's gonna bring me any kind of negative feedback.
You're not the thotty from the block. It's not thotty too hotty.
It ain't no pictures. It ain't
Oh, you was pre the picture time.
yeah, I ain't have no staff. I ain't have nobody following me around with cameras for YouTube. None of that. No documentation.
I don't even know why I'm asking you.
Skip.
Do you feel, should you feel or do you feel anything?
No, I don't. Why should you?
The end.
Or should you?
Why should you?
Punctuation.
You know why this question? You know why this question arrived though?
Why?
I watch now that all these celebrities who are going through, even Diddy.
Right.
Now, I don't know the legal shit, but I'm saying you go through all these times that we think was free and fun, and now you got to look back 10, 15 years ago, and people are considering some of these things a crime. Some of these are crimes now.
Well, we put a
I
cap on
say
it,
I say this when you,
He never put a cap on it.
You haven't been doing it for years.
that's one, and then what I say is this is
Them
we're
stew
not
parties
rich.
is crazy.
We not rich, so if we was rich, then people. And to be honest with you, a lot of these people
Stu?
they coming out because they didn't get the check.
Yeah, pretty much.
You see, if you watch the Vince McMahon thing, Shorty got mad because she wasn't getting no more money. Donald Sterling, the Shorty got mad because she wasn't getting no more money. This is why we have these situations. I'm not saying all, but if things were going on for a certain period of time, the person, usually the people that come out, they wasn't getting no more money.
So my question to you is,
Go ahead.
right now, why your money ain't where it's supposed to be.
It's gonna be there
Do
soon.
you want to look at the camera and tell everybody you feel guilty about all the stuff you did before
Days of liberation.
Can I get a close up? In the great words of Stuart Hemingway, no.
All right, okay. So during your times when you was out in the street starting and bopping,
They was with me, so I wouldn't be mad. We was all together.
That's what I'm saying.
It was done.
do you? It just,
Turner.
Do I
what's your level of guilt,
guilt?
if
None.
any, if any?
None. Like what? Like come on.
You bit that one girl.
She bit me first.
She's been a back.
I don't feel no guilt. Why? Like I'm a grown man. Everyone had the pass. I don't even feel mad if a female have the, at that stage. Rock out, enjoy yourself. It's what it is. Well, I'm gonna feel guilty.
Yeah.
Especially
I
if
didn't
everything-
deceive anybody.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
when everything is
Nobody.
consensual. It's like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Deceive
nothing
anybody?
unconsensual. You know
Mind
about that.
If they thought they was gonna be with you, they was deceived. Just because you didn't say I'm deceiving you.
No, but you gotta think about it. The
They
only
was
time
with
you
me.
regret if like an unborn
They was with me.
baby come out, something comes out of it that wasn't part of the God's plan. So
Wait,
then-
first of all, that is God's
okay,
plan.
God's plan. Okay,
If the baby come.
okay, my bad. Okay, I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Well, it's not a part of the plan. My plan.
Shout out to SJ.
he never just shot you out, SJ.
I feel like a criminal.
Because
I feel like
You ain't
took
got
it?
enough money to be a criminal, and that's
because I hate the
Did
fact
you
that
take it, Bika?
He just check your pocket.
here's what I'm saying.
The brownies.
I think that I can defend some of these horrible people because I'm like, I've been kind of similar. What are you talking about? That kind of event is not a crime. I've been there. That is not a crime. But it feels like more and more we keep getting more and more cases of like, no, you're a criminal.
that's salacious.
I feel like that. That was the reason for this question. You gotta think about it. They're talking about like a lot of these. Let me not say that word. They're talking about like these group parties where
Been
people are
there.
engaging
Done that.
and stuff. And
Got
if you go
guns,
to these things,
DuckTales.
And the girl with the
DuckTales,
strap.
yeah, right. And then you start doing these things, or putting people out, kicking them off of beds and stuff like that, or just telling people they
done
gotta
that.
go home, or not paying for cab fares, stuff like that. Yeah, man, it's just.
But that doesn't just take away from it being consensual.
Yeah,
But it's,
I'm not.
it's
I'm
not.
just saying the level of you got to understand that when people are because see, we are seeing it from the side of having fun. The person who's receiving these things,
It's still
I don't
consensual.
know if it's
though.
no, but I don't know if it's fun for them. I'm never okay. So let me be clear for the
It
cameras.
doesn't
Maybe
happen.
the
We're not
next
talking
morning.
about
No.
consent. Consent
No.
is the consent sign was for
Already.
I said at a
everybody.
certain
Yeah.
level, you need NDAs to
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's
To have fun.
No, what I'm
But that
saying
real
is,
fun.
what I'm
Not
saying
even.
is, during your stage when you was out in the streets and you was on Friday night, I think you explained this episode 10 when you was like you get overbooked,
yeah, I was.
right?
I should do 3 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these people that are 3 a days, do you think
Do-
that they knew that they
They
was
were
3 a
three-
days?
Do they know that you have 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon?
Would they have consented to
my
being 2
thing,
or 3?
No. My thing, the third one, did she know she was the third one?
Yeah, was like being on a
So-
roster.
like, did she
No,
know?
I know it's so.
wrong?
I know it's so. But my question is, do you like? How do you?
No, I feel bad. I feel like somebody's gonna say something about me, and I don't mean that. And no bad. You don't have nothing to say. But if you're telling me that right after you came here and you didn't shower, no, I didn't.
Whoa, okay.
You was doing it
So
wrong.
so now
Yeah, like-
so now
That might be a crime in like 2 minutes.
So it's
we
a
like
crime-
2 minutes away
so
from
it's
that being a
crime.
crime.
So it's a crime for omitting.
I'm not. Let's be clear.
I'm just
gonna
asking, what are you trying to get
as
your
the person? I'm not saying it's a crime.
I'm saying-
what is your level that you feel morally? We're talking about morals right now.
What more?
Listen, I'm gonna say
I don't feel
hold-
bad morally about anything I've done. What I'm telling you is now in today's day and age, some things feel criminal. And even down to you not, it feels criminal.
Like, Bika,
it feels criminal.
If I ain't slipped no,
You should feel bad.
Guy in blue.
no, I'm saying if I didn't.
Wait, I got on blue.
If I didn't slip, it's nothing in a female's drink. Like, why am I feeling bad for? Like, if I didn't do anything like what they said, every other.
I'm watching
person did,
volunteers say that renege, retract that volunteer form. I've watched volunteers
Of course.
say I'm not a volunteer no more.
Because I've heard somebody that I was cool with before say, they were mad at me because I didn't stop.
Wanted you to hold on to it.
She said,
Don't let me go.
Her words
No.
were,
She wanted you to save her.
her words were, you knew I liked you and you didn't stop me.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so,
would.
All right, so when do people start taking self accountability?
I agree
Hold
with
on,
you.
and
I
I'm gonna
agree
say
with
this,
you, but
and you know that one of the reasons, like I said in episode 1, it's only 1.5 females, now maybe one female that I feel like I shouldn't have did what I did to them, and that's not did nothing bad, but I mistreated it. I mistreated it.
You peed on the wall.
Yeah, I did but I betrayed her trust.
That was the half.
I betrayed her trust, and that's something I feel like I feel bad for. It's only one.
okay.
So out of my
so
whole,
all the rest of you never betrayed anybody's trust. You never misled anybody.
we was all misleading each other.
Yeah, it was a bunch of
That's
lies
why I
going
said
on.
it's only one female.
Okay.
It's only one female that I feel like, yo, out of my whole life that I feel like, yo, I felt bad because I shouldn't have been outside running around on her.
So,
But
Kush,
everybody else was like,
do
what?
you have any guilt behind your
He's sensitive.
Days of
behind your
liberation.
soaring
Yeah,
state?
You bought skeletons out while we're still good,
I
right?
got this on USB in the
Yeah,
future.
right. No, so when I say misleading, no, but I think that I was harsh about the way I handle situations, right?
How so?
Because a lot of times it'll be like too straightforward. I think I'm very too straightforward with people. Like, this is what's going on. No, because
a bad thing.
No, because I feel like
I don't get it, Kush. You're very confused,
Bro,
Like,
you're taking away
you-
the human interaction now.
yeah.
You can't be straightforward.
'Cause I didn't allow
If
myself
you
to-
admit you're
you
wrong,
know,
like what you want me to do?
Yo, Kush, if you tell someone, yo, listen, I'm just going to deal with you tonight, maybe tomorrow, and I may block you, but I may unblock you, and then next week, if they accept that, then it is what it is.
yeah, but I mean, you
Yeah,
asked me,
hold
you asked
on.
me, but you
No,
asked me
he
how
was
I
getting
feel.
the washcloths talking about, yo, you didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. My. Yes, what I'm saying is there's a little mental screwing of somebody, right? Because if you know somebody's into you, if you know a female's into you, and you're dealing with them, you know how you can maneuver a situation. Let's be honest, even at a younger age, some of us are a little bit more advanced in seeing where you could go. It's kind of like it's kind of like fishing with dynamite sometimes.
Psychological
I got
serial
a-
killer. That's
Yeah.
what you are.
I got a video.
A video I just watched.
I'm glad y'all still ain't find my account.
That's edited.
So
That's that Darskin on Viv stuff.
Lord have mercy.
So I watched a video the other day where this girl had been talking to some guy online, and the guy paid for 2 days worth of hotel stay when he met her. He came through and left at 4:00 in the morning. She said he only stayed about an hour. It's 1:30 in the afternoon the next day, and she's like, she hasn't spoken to him, hasn't seen him, no nothing. So he's gone, but he paid for 2 days. And I go,
I seen the episode.
That's
too.
a come up.
that's
Vacation.
The vacation. I seen the episode 2 on film on
what.
OnlyFans.
So, but hold on, the comment section would have you feel like he did something criminal. And I'm saying,
So what she wanted?
soon
So
we will be criminals, my guy. I'm watching people.
I'm gonna say this. So what she wanted from him? She wanted him to stay there, and so they could do certain things.
Like,
or
for
what
2
was it?
days?
For 2
He
days.
did that.
Did she get
He-
flued out? 'Cause
Now
that's
that's
what you're talking about.
You're talking about a list of crimes that are not crimes. Nothing about
Well,
that
listen,
as a
make
crime.
it a crime, because you know what? Now I ain't gotta do it.
Yeah.
4400 in the comment section. During your loose stages, what's your level of guilt? Do you feel guilty about some of the stuff you did? Smash and grab. Do you feel guilty about some of the stuff your shorty did?
Yeah, shorty.
What do you
did.
mean?
That was a trick question.
What did you do? Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
4400.
Later, man.
Yeah.
First one's free.
The first one.